Howdy folks, Don Bruce of Minecraft Transport Simulator here. So I've had a few people ask me about how to use Blender in order to get their models ready to go in Minecraft Transport Simulator. It's somewhat of a straightforward process, but Blender can be quite obtuse at times, so I figured I'd make this video just to walk you through the different steps of what you need to do in order to get your model ready. So, in this tutorial I'll be using Blender 2.7.9, as you can see here. Different versions of Blender may behave slightly differently, I don't know. But in general, the steps will be the same. You might have to press a slightly different button, but Google will be your friend there. So anyways, let's get started. First off, to get this weird little thing out of the way, you just hit escape and he's gone. Then you have a cube. You don't want a random cube in your model, so you just hit delete, yes, delete, and he's gone. Easy peasy. So now you have a blank canvas. Now, Minecraft Transport Simulator uses OBJ models, so you will have to have an OBJ model. If you're using a modeler such as Flan's Toolbox and happen to have the paid version, you can export directly to OBJ, though there are a few issues with the exporter which we'll get into later as I'll be demonstrating with a Flan's Toolbox model export. There's also the way of exporting to OBJ through Blockbench, which as far as I know works just fine and dandy, though it renames all your parts and that can get kind of annoying. And then of course if you're using Techni or Tabula, there are random converters out for those, though I've found that they don't work well if you have flat faces. Those are ones with a thickness of 0. Blender gets cranky about the way the converter works, and also it maps the textures backwards on the underside. So if you are doing anything in a modern or new, you would probably want to use Blockbench instead of Techni or Tabula. But again, it's up to personal preference. You can always open them in Flan's Toolbox and export them there. Again, provided you have the paid copy. Anyways, so let's get started. First of all, we need an OBJ model. So I'm going to go import an OBJ. I have one here in the downloads. Douglas DC3. So there we are. Nice Douglas DC3 model. So that will work. Now the first thing you might know is that this model is big. Sometimes, depending on if you export from Blockbench or something, you will need to scale the model down. Now, in this case, I don't believe he needs scaling, but we can double check that. I'm going to go and look top down. Yeah, about 2 blocks either side. That seems about right for a cockpit width of a DC3. If it was like the cockpit from over here to here, you'd probably need to scale it. But if you do need to scale it, you simply press S for scale. And so you scale him down, and you go here. Now, instead of eyeballing, you notice over here this little vector thing popped up. Now, you should put 1/16 for every one of these values. So if I pull up the calculator, because I can't remember that, 1/16 is 0.0625. So you just copy and paste, then copy, Control V, then click and Control V, and boom. Now he's at 1/16th scale. This model you do not want to do it with because obviously this is the size of a block and you don't want to have a plane the size of 2 blocks. But if you have to do that, that is how you do that. So I'm going to hit escape and then Control Z to undo that, and we're going to go back to normal. Anyways, the first thing you need to do, of course, is get him aligned correctly. As you can see, his nose is a bit off kilter, so we will have to fix that. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab and move him around. If you press the G key, he'll grab. So right now I'm just going to eyeball him. And in general, you want the center point, which is this little point here where the green and the red intersect, be right at the center of rotation of the plane. So in this case, the plane is going to rotate slightly behind these front wheels, so right about here where my mouse is. If you were doing a car, the car actually rotates on the rear wheels because the front wheels turn and the rear wheels stay in place. If you find your vehicle rotating funny, that is most assuredly the reason. So in my case, I'm just going to eyeball him here, and I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I usually want to put the rotation slightly behind the front wheels. Otherwise, in Minecraft Transport Simulator, it gets a little bit confused. So I'm going to move him right thereabouts. Okay, so that's good, but he's still not lined up along the center. As you can see, that center line's a bit off. So if I can just go here, this little green shows us Y. So I'm going to take Y and click, 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 click. Just click him over until he lines up right smack in the center, right about there. So there we go. Yep, that's pretty centered. And I want it to probably be around the wings, so I'm just going to click a little bit lower on the blue, which is your Z. Now, wrong direction. Click, 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 click. Right about there, this little center of the wings. There we go. So that's right about where I want him to rotate, right near the center of the wings. So now he's positioned correctly, but I don't know yet if he's actually facing the correct way. For all I know, forwards might be this way, and I'll be flying the plane sideways. So there's two options. You can either guess and check, or you can be like me and be lazy and just grab another vehicle from the Minecraft pack. So if you go to import OBJ, I'm going to go over here. No, not that one. There we go. Let's import the Vulcanair. Okay, so we can see the Vulcanair is actually pointing this way because his tail's over here, which tells us we need to rotate the DC-3 counterclockwise by 90 degrees. So hit the delete key, Vulcanair's gone again, then hit the A key to select everything on the DC-3, and then hit the R key to rotate. Now, as you can see, Blender clearly didn't rotate it that well. But if you go here to Constraint Axes, you can go and you can see how Z is right up here. So you want Z, you want it to rotate about Z. And I don't want it to rotate negative 91 degrees. I want it to rotate 90 degrees. It needs to go the other way. There we go. That should do it. And if I go to import the OBJ again of the Vulcanair. Yep, they're both facing the same way. But it looks like it went and messed up my position again, so now I get to go play the click game. Oh, goody. Let's see, grab. I don't want it to move in the Z. That was fine. I don't want it to move in Y. That was fine. But it needs to go X smidge. Right there, that'll work. That'll work just dandy. Okay, so there we go. So now that's in position. Good, good, good. So now everything's in position. Now it's a time for you to actually name your parts and everything. So I'm going to go over here, and thankfully some of these are already named, but they won't actually work 100%. So let's see, body model, lamp door closed, nose model, pitch left model. Just seeing what I got here. Okay, so tail wheel model. Well, that can just get joined in with the body model because that's pretty much the same thing. So if you just click that and then shift and click body, then you can go to object and join. Now they're the same because I don't really care about the difference in that. Then you have, let's see what else we've got. Nose model. I wouldn't really care about that, so that can join in with the body. That's not going to be a special part. That's fine. Left wing model. Yeah, there might be flaps and elevators over there. So, yeah, let's see, tail model. You know what? I'm just going to join everything together. Make my life easy because these don't seem to quite have names on them. So I'm just going to join them all into that. And I'm just going to leave that as body model. So if you click this, you got body model, good, good, good. Anywho, so now I've got him. Now I'm going to go into edit mode. Now I'm in edit mode, so I can see all the parts here. So what I'm going to need to do is split a few of these off. So I'm going to take this guy here, which is the elevator, or not dumped on, it's aileron, and the flap. So here tells you what you select. So here I'll select vertexes, here I'll select edges, but I want to select entire faces. So you see how these little dots come, so I'll select that, and yep, hold shift, and then you can do that. But before I do that, notice how you have this little dot right up, I don't know if you can see it, right about here. This is a face that's literally a line. You got a face here, you have the face on the underside, but you have a face shape between those two. Now, we really don't need that stuff, so what you can do is you can just select everything, then go to Mesh, clean up, and remove doubles. Notice how it made those go away? Removed 1,000 vertices. So that's good. You don't want any of those garbage faces there, so good riddance to those. Anywho, so let's see, you have that, you have that. Then you can just select both of those. You can press the P key and it will split by selection. So now he's over here. See, he's split. He's not joined. So I'm going to turn him invisible. And I need to get these shapes too, because otherwise it'll move and I'll see a gap. But see, so to know which one you want to get, you can hit the N key to bring up the normals panel, and then you just scroll down here to this little thingy here, this display face normals and lines. So you see now how all of your faces have little lines pointing out of them? That tells you what direction the face is facing. I'm going to make them a little bigger so I can see. So if I hit this face and then grab it to move him around, see how he does that? Then you've got this face. See how he doesn't have a normal pointing that way? It's because he doesn't have one. So if I grab him, there's two faces there. One of them was from that aileron that I just split off, and the other one is the face that faces the other direction. So you do have to watch out for that. But anyway, so that's an aileron right there, and there's another one over here. Also go over here to the rudder. So I'll show you the rudder. It's just as easier to get to than all those ailerons. So you hit a P, you select that. You can click the little I to make him go invisible to see what else you have in here. And you've got what looks to be another face. Oh, come on. Sometimes you have to like scroll around and then click somewhere else to get what you want. See, I don't want that big one because that's the whole face there. I want that small, I think that's a small inner one I had. Yeah, I want that one. Then you hit P, my selection. There we go. Because I should have a thing pointing this away and one up and one down. And then the rudder should have the other parts. So there we go. So this and this were the rudder, so I can make them visible again. And if I turn the body model off, you see you have a nice rudder right here. And because I took the other parts for him, I've got a backing here. So anyways, so I'm going to take these to object join, and I'm going to call him dollar rudder. There we go. And change it here too. So you have to change it in both places, otherwise Blender does something stupid with its naming conventions and gives you a headache. So you're just going to change it in both places and that will be fine. So there we go. There's your rudder. And you can turn this back on, and now your rudder's a separate place. And so you do that for your elevators, you do that for your ailerons, for your flaps, for everything like that. And the $sign is important. It tells you what is going to move. So for here, you would call these $sign elevator underscore L, elevator underscore R, aileron underscore L, aileron underscore R, flap L and R, same dang deal. So again, not too complex. You can also have other things like wheel strut and whatever, and there'll be a list of everything you can name as far as parts go. So anyhow, so you can go back again, you go back to object mode, you can click the rudder or you can click the body model. I need to edit that. You grab the elevator. Last double click thing. I have a hotkey set up. Grab that, hit P to split it up, and I just turn it invisible to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I can see right there I got black and I got clear, so that tells me I'm missing something. That is the one I want, so I hit P again. That should do that if I turn him invisible. Yep, no more conflicting shapes. So I can just take this guy and that guy, make them visible again. Object join. Oh, I didn't select him. Though. There we go. And I can go just change him to $sign elevator underscore L because he's a left elevator. And $elevator L. So pretty easy. So you do the same for the other elevator, ailerons, flaps, all that good stuff. If you wanted to make a wheel strut rotate, you could do it for that. Or in this case, if you have, say, a door, you'd want to split him out. And depending on how you export, they may already be split out. I've heard Toolbox is a hit or miss as far as that goes. But anyway, so that's that. Now, once you get all your parts named and everything else, you'll need to get the texture applied. And that we shall leave for video 2. For the meantime, this is Don Bruce, signing off.